Good afternoon, everybody, or good evening, excuse me. Today I'm going to be speaking on the aspects of what it's like to live in a home with multiple psychic mediums. When you live in a home with that many people with a gift or in the attunements of every sense that they have, it can be very difficult. It's a lot of cleansing, it's a lot of clearing, it's a lot of setting boundaries, it's a lot of grounding and centering every single day almost, whether it be spiritually or physically cleansing. When you're in a home with multiple psychic mediums, you tend to have supernatural phenomenon on a daily basis. No matter where you go or whose house you visit, it can be if you're with your sister who has the gift as you and you are joined in the same family, or you could be with a friend that has gifts, and you literally are going to experience something on a daily basis, almost every day. We do in our home. It's typical for us. We just let it go out one ear and out the other, go in one ear and out the other. Just the other day, I was telling my sister that I enjoy the quiet. When I can, I'm a very, very busy person most of the days. So when I have that quiet moment, I take it in and I sit and I just think about, the blessings, and think about what goals I have for the day, or just basically, the normal typical mom things. What am I going to make for dinner? The basic common things. And we have a fan on in our house. For a medium, it's a great thing to have a fan on when you sleep, because it drowns out noise sometimes, and it gets you to, it's like having a TV on, but without the light. It's like a calmness that brings you to, so when you get distracted and you're hearing this and you're seeing this, that noise will bring you down to a medium. And they're great to have on. We have ours on all year round. My granddaughter back on, I had to get a call in, excuse me. Back to what I was saying. So when we have gifted people all in one space, it tends to be really amplified by a million. When my granddaughters are with me, we have to have a fan on. I sleep with a fan on. It doesn't matter. The fan's on every single night. We do sleep in complete darkness. It's not a problem for us. My granddaughters are more on the fearful side at night, like a typical little child. They are afraid of the dark. They are more so afraid because of the things that they see and that they hear, and for them it's hard to cope with because they're not your typical child. And I explain that to them. It's normal for us as people because we are different, and we have to learn how to cope with it through our lives. And I try to explain to them being different is a good thing. It's not a freaky thing. It's not a scary thing. And I'm trying to teach them in a way to where, you should never be afraid of your home or the darkness. You are the light. You bring light to wherever you are. So when you're dealing with multiple mediums, you're going to get things like disembodied voices. You're going to hear sounds. You're going to smell things that are not there. So they are manifested by spirits. You are going to, and why it's going to be amplified, I'm going to explain to you when I'm done explaining what I'm talking about right now. Basically your senses that you have are going to be amplified by a million, like I had just spoken of. The smell, the sight, the sound, the touch, the taste, all of it will be just at a very higher sense. You'll smell things like perfumes, tobacco. You could smell anything from something rotten to um, things that would have been of that person's nature in life that has passed on. You will see things floating across the room. You might be physically attacked by an entity, but that in itself is a rarity. Most spirits are kind, or they just want to be heard, or they want to be noticed. So to be attacked is a rarity. Let me explain that again. In my time, in the years I've lived, I've had psychic dreams. I've had things float across the room. I've had things thrown at me. I've been growled at. I've had, that's another thing you'll have, you'll have cold, you'll feel coldness or really hot. Temperature changes that will just like go off the charts. And yes, that can sound really scary, but when you're doing this from a child to many years later, you become very aware of things. Your senses are very heightened, and you also have a way of coping with it. So when I see something now, because I've done this my whole life, I'm just like, well, okay, I'm gonna head to bed now, or that's wonderful. Some of them just want a reaction from you. Some want to feel heard or seen. We've had this is going to sound so insane. The people that owned the house that we lived in when we were a child, they had gotten into a car accident. We had no idea. So at the time we were paying rent, like a typical, paying rent as a person. And we had gotten a message on our answering machine, and the person that owned the house was on the other end of the phone, but you can tell their voice was completely different. It was very strange and odd, and come to find out, they had passed away a day or so prior to. I'm trying to go back and remember as a child the story, how it went. There are so many different things that happens in a house. Anything that is typically unusual is amplified by, like I said, 1,000,000. So if you smell your grandmother's perfume and you're around a bunch of psychics and mediums, it's going to be amplified, because mediums, they attract spirits. Not willingly, we just do. And they use our energy. So that's why you'll hear me say, oh, I don't feel well, I feel tired, I have to end my session. Because they use our energy to manifest, to speak, to show themselves, to give us a message. So when you have multiple in a home, what happens is the energy that a spirit, we can attract, the spirit is amplified. And it's like just being in one room with a bunch of spirits that can just do anything at that moment, because when you have that many mediums in a room or a home, they actually have enough energy to manifest and do practically whatever they want. It's a lot of clearing out your spiritual energy. It's a lot of, you could do a lot of different ways of cleansing your home, cleansing your land, putting barriers up. Anything supernatural, spiritual, basically it will be always amplified in a home. And it's very noticeable to a person who doesn't have the ability of what a psychic medium has. And when you have that many in a room or a house, the person without a gift will even see and hear and smell things as well, because the energy is so amplified. My husband, he doesn't have any sort of, psychic gift or mediumship. And he's had things happen to him. He's seen things because the energy in our home is so amplified. And it's always going to be with you no matter where you go. It's just more so when you have multiple. For me, it's if my sister comes to visit And then my 2 granddaughters, that's a lot of mediums. And my mother, that's a lot of psychic mediums in one place. So when that occurs, I usually will hear, it's not something that I look out to do. I will hear the person's thoughts. I will feel their sadness. I will know personal aspects of their life. I will pick up on things that's going to happen. And that can make for an awkward conversation, or that can actually, that can honestly ruin an evening or an afternoon or a morning or a day. But what I've learned to do is come together and say, hey, I'm feeling this. What about you? What are you feeling? What are you picking up on today? So that's a lot of our conversations in our home. And no matter where I go, I have something supernatural happening to me, whether it's outside, whether it's at my sister's house, or anybody's house that I go to, something is always happening. And I don't always see a spirit, no, but I will either pick up on a spirit around a person I'm near, or they'll give me a message, and I can't always give that message because some people don't accept it to where they can't accept their loved one has come to give them a message. So in the aspects of having that many psychic mediums around, it's basically a high volume of amplification. It's really, really, really heavy. It's more picking up on psychic energy. It's more knowing what's coming. It can be very tough in a group setting. So it's more of the reason why I try to work by myself. It's not to critique anybody. It's not, I don't get to shake hands much. I don't hug people. I don't do a lot of things that can bring a typical person to loneliness, because it's a lot to handle spiritually and physically. In a home with that many mediums, you want to do some form of cleansing every day, whether it's grounding and centering and putting a protective shield up, whether you want to salt your home, whether you want to sage your home, whether you want to do a form of releasing the energy in your home with a singing bowl. We call meditation bowls, where you hit it and it has that loud vibration. Spirits tend to not like certain smells. You can do ammonia jars. You can do practically anything that you want. You could do a prayer of some sort. You could do putting a boundary around your home of certain herbs or salts or certain plants, or anything really works if you put your thought process into it. Because protection has to come within you. You want to have your home cleaned. Also, not just spiritually, but physically. When you collect clutter in your home and it's messy and it's dirty, that's a lot of built up energy of uneasy, because the more angry you are and unsettled you are, the more you draw in energy. So when we have 4 mediums in a house, or psychic mediums in a house, and things aren't going the right way because something didn't get done, and I call those energy suckers, to where you have 5 piles of laundry sitting over there. That's going to suck your energy away. Not only is it going to lower your energy, but it's going to cause you to bring in low-level energies that can attach to you because of your anger. When you're depressed and you're angry and you're unsettled, you can actually attract things to your energy. When you're at a higher vibration, you can actually attract more higher vibrational beings that are protectors. You know what I mean? I always do an honoring to what I call my gatekeepers, my spirit guides, my ancestors. I have an altar just for them, and I light sage, and I give an offering whenever I can to them, because they help protect you, they help guide you, they help give you a balance as well. If any of you want a way to cleanse your home in multiple different altitudes of between, if you can't have smoke around you, there's sound, there's salt, you can actually make a sage water and spray it around your home. You can also do cutting cord. It's called cutting the cord. It's also anything that's feeding off your energy, you can cut the cord, so to speak. There's a lot of different things and a lot of different ways that you can clean your home and your spiritual being. So when you notice you're in a place where there's a lot of spiritual activity going on, and you're picking that up, and so are other people. Some of them might not be aware that they are gifted as well. They would just overlook that, because a lot of people they don't believe in psychics or mediums. They think a lot of them are kooks or scammers, which some of them are, and I understand people's anger and frustration with them. But you want to also always be aware, look up, read up, study on things, because the more of you're aware and the more you're able to cleanse out your area each day, you're bringing an energy that is balanced. You're bringing in you can bring in prosperity that way. You can bring in more tranquility to your home. Even luck you can bring into your home in that kind of sense. It's how you balance your energy and balance your life. And bringing in that many people into your home and who are that gifted, you always have to try to be on the same page with them, because if one's angry, one's sad, one's depressed, one has a brightness to them, intertwining that, you're going to have a lot of spiritual energy around you, and it can be draining very, very, very quickly. So if anybody wants to put a message under here for a video of multiple ways of cleaning your home or your energy, just put it down in the comments and I'll make a video. I have some work to do on a case with a very dear friend, and then once that case is solved, I'm actually going to be moving to Brooklyn Farthing of Kentucky. And after that, I will take probably 6 months off, because I will be moving to a different state. Not moving physically, but moving on to a different state, so I can help another state out. There's quite a few people in Idaho that need cases done, and I haven't moved from Kentucky yet, because Kentucky has a lot of shady things going on down there, and there are people that are missing, and there's so many unsolved murders down there. And Kentucky is a very resilient state, and they need a lot of help. People, they don't have the help from police that they need. I'm not saying all police are bad, but I do think that there is a lot of corruption going on, and that's come from a lot of people in Kentucky. So once I'm done with Michael Gorley's case, I move right to Brooklyn Farthing's case. So when her mom reaches back out to me, I will be working with that case, and I don't know how long that case will take me. So after that, I will be taking a break from that, and I'll be moving to another state, like I said, to help other people. I always come back to places to help anybody, wherever I can. I have a list so long, it'll probably be my whole lifetime. So Summer Wells, I did try to give my information on, and they don't take information from me. I will try to keep seeing what I can get to come through. But what I felt is that little girl, the outcome of it's not what everybody's going to expect. So this is my video on what it's like living with a household full of mediums. It can be tough, it can be stressful, it can be happy, it can be sad, just like any other household, just amplified by a million. And it's definitely a lot more work. I actually have videos of my house. I have cameras all around my whole entire house. I have I have pictures of spirits on my cameras right in front of my home. I have them, I have pictures of spirits around my Christmas tree. I can't remember if I mentioned in the beginning of the video, we had just bought in a new home, and the land itself, it needs to be cleansed. Once the nicer weather comes, I'm gonna work on the property. I had to cleanse a few things in the house. The other day, I had screenshotted some pictures and I showed it to my sister. I have spirits standing in front of my camera system. I'm gonna post them to my Facebook so the people on my Facebook can see. And I was sitting in my recliner the other day, a couple days ago, and the fan turned on by itself. The only problem with that is it wasn't plugged in. So it's that kind of thing that just happens and happens and happens. You just have to get used to it. You have to let it go, and you have to move on from it, because you're always going to have something new happening. There's always going to be something more. So you just have to kind of grip it and be like, hey, I see you, I hear you, but I'm not really going to engage it right now. So thank you for your message, or thank you for popping in, but I'm not going to deal with that right now. So I will post those pictures to my Facebook probably within the next couple days, of my camera system picking up on spirits. And once this one case is done, I will, like I said, be moving to Brooklyn Farthing. So I will be doing a live probably the first week of March, and it'll be our normal time. It'll be late evening. I figure people are out of work. They're, they've had their dinner. I try to do it for people that are already in the afternoon. They've had their dinner. They've put their children down to bed. Things like I try to help people in that sense so they don't miss out. So I'm going to be heading out. I hope everybody has a great weekend. Stay safe out there. And if you want any type of cleansing video, put it under here, and I will go in deep on how many different ways that you can cleanse your home or yourself, okay? Everybody have a great night. Bye-bye.